I was muted that whole time. Sorry about that. Anyhow, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. We will get started here in just a little bit. Just checking some things out before we get started. Okay, we're good. Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another live stream. Hope everybody had a good week and a good start to your weekend. Um, Today is August 16th, 2025. It is a Saturday night, and we're here talking about the tropics, talking about major Category 5 Hurricane Aaron out here, as well as what this little disturbance down here that has 20% chance in the 7 days. Just see what the disturbance has in future for us, as well as just talking to you guys in the chat, answering any questions, or just having a general conversation, voicing your opinions. That's what we're all here for tonight. And we will be live for um, for a little bit, but I just wanted to come on here and say sorry I'm a little late. I had a few things I had to do, but we're here now. I know it's a little late, but I made it. We're here, and we are going to be here um, probably till right around probably sometime between 11:30 and 12 o'clock Central Time. Maybe a little earlier. Just kind of depends on how the night goes. So I'm just gonna let some more people get in here while we look at radar imagery of Aaron as it is in the out there in the Atlantic, just kind of north of the U.S. British Virgin Islands, as well as Puerto Rico. Just give me a second to try and figure this out. Again, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to get started here in just a minute. Just letting a little bit more people come on in here as we are uh, getting ready to talk about what's going on here with Aaron, as well as what is going on elsewhere. All right. I believe we're good. All right. I reckon we're gonna get started here. Just give me 1 second. Alrighty. So this is what currently we'll kind of stop it here. So this is the latest image of radar here. You can see the kind of the eye of Aaron up here, and you can see that Puerto Rico is getting those lashing of these bands, and so is the U.S. British Virgin Islands. Sorry. Um, You can see down here in Puerto Rico, we do have a flood watch, special weather statements. We also do have special marine warnings out there as well. We did have tropical storm warnings out there earlier, but I believe that's kind of mostly calmed down. But you could see, especially over here, the British Virgin Islands, you can see a heavy band of rain moving through. Of course, all the heavy rain here on the northern side of Puerto Rico, as the system again is well off to the north. I believe by a little over around 115 miles to the north is where the center of Aaron is. Where you can see these bands that are just have come down from Aaron and causing significant rain and flooding to Puerto Rico and the U.S. British Virgin Islands uh, throughout the whole entire day today. Um, so this is the latest from the National Hurricane Center. Um, we do have a 10% area appear within the next 7 days, 10% in 48 hours. This is just a low pressure that's come off of North Carolina. It will not do much of anything. It's just going to kind of go out to sea like Aaron will. And we also have down here our new area, disturbance 2, 20% in 7 days, 48 hours is near pretty much zero. And the current wave that we're watching here is still it's kind of coming off the coast of Africa. And this is the area right here where we got to watch to see whether this wave is going to kind of follow an Aaron path and go out to sea, or will it go and try to sneak into the Gulf? Or will it just go out into the Eastern Pacific? Or will it just not form at all? So, it's kind of too far out to be for sure of any of these things. But we will look at models later on and or here in or, yeah, later on and talk about that. Latest update from the National Hurricane Center, 8 p.m. Eastern. NOAA and Air Force Hurricane Hunter aircraft suggest that Aaron is undergoing an eyewall replacement cycle. What an eyewall replacement cycle means is Aaron had an eye, like you saw on radar, but because of some of it's kind of battling with a little bit of shear, and so what it's doing is as it's moving to the west, it's trying to form a new eye, probably a little more southern. I haven't looked at any satellites. We'll have to look at satellite here live with you guys, but Aaron's going to go undergo an eyewall replacement cycle, which is going to temporarily hinder the system. And you can see there that on this latest update, that it's at 934 millibars. It's at 150 miles an hour. So it is down to a Category 4. It was a Category 5, 915 millibars at 160 miles an hour. But you can see how it has weakened because of that eyewall replacement cycle. Um, so the latest cone that we do have from the National Hurricane Center, this was as of the 5 p.m. Advisory, kind of the latest cone we have. And you can see here with the latest update with the cone that it is already a major and is expected to be a major all the way until it goes out to sea. And you can see that we do have some more tropical storm watches that are in effect for over here just south of Turks and Caicos, just off the coast of Cuba. We do got those tropical storm watches there. And if the system sticks on the southern side, I mean, it would bring, significant impacts towards the Bahamas and such. But we're you know, kind of have to watch and wait and see what happens with that. Again, this is as the latest cone. We're going to stay live and we'll get a new updated cone here within the next hour and a half. So this is the wind speed probabilities. This is showing the probabilities of tropical storm force winds. This is just for sustained tropical storm force winds, which you can see down here is wind sustained at 39 miles an hour or greater. And you can see that we do have near these islands down here, we do have close to that right around 40-50% of those tropical storm force winds. And of course, over here towards Turks and Caicos, we do have 20 to 30% chance of those winds. And the coast of North Carolina does have a 5 to 10% chance of these winds, as well as down here near the coast, near the harbors down there in Massachusetts. We could see potentially some tropical storm force winds there as well. Um, and then as we look at hurricane force winds, you can see that it shrinkens dramatically. Hurricane force winds are not expected anywhere, not even in Bermuda. Bermuda doesn't even have a chance, 0 to 5%. So it looks like tropical storm force winds will be the main issue for the storm. This is the arrival time of these winds. If I turn on this, okay, that just shows what I showed you. So these winds could be coming by you here near the coast of the Carolinas right around next Tuesday night, going into your Wednesday, and then over here for the harbors in Massachusetts, be Wednesday evening before those get to you. Turks and Caicos, the portions of the Bahamas, it'll be within the next 24 hours, right around tomorrow at 8 p.m., all the way through your day tomorrow and tomorrow evening, overnight through Monday. You could have some of those tropical storm force winds move through near you guys. The latest rainfall totals from Aaron, you can see that again, localized amounts of 4 to 6 inches, which is 100 to 150 millimeters of rain, as well as for parts of Turks and Caicos and the southern Bahamas, you could see maybe 1 to 2 inches or 25 to 50 milliliters, maybe localized areas of 2 to 4 inches down there as well. And that's kind of all we got there. Um, So let's look at some model data. This is the latest of the European. This is the 12Z. This is the latest of the European model. So it initializes this as a 990, which again, this doesn't really initialize, none of these models I don't think initialize this really well. But this does show how the storm's really here right now, but the Euro, or today's the 16th at 7 p.m. So it kind of initializes this well. The millibars, obviously, it's like 50 millibars off, so I don't want you to focus too much on the strength of this system, more of the path. So this latest Euro does take it a little bit closer to the Bahamas, towards Turks and Caicos, and then eventually it does take that turn, and you can see how close, how it's going west and then kind of west northwest, going straight for the coast, and then bang, at the last second, it takes that turn. And it's a very close call, according to the latest European. Very close call on what's going to happen there. Very close call. Let me. Where is my mouse? There it is. Sorry about that. Let's look at the Euro AI. This is the 18Z of the Euro AI. Let's see. Today is, let's go back to the 16th at 7 p.m. So it initializes this. The location, again, don't focus on the millibar or the strength. Just focus on the location and track. The location, pretty accurate for where it's at right now. And then the Euro AI takes this where it continues, where it grazes by Turks and Caicos, the Bahamas, and again, it takes that curve a little sooner than the European, but still could bring minor impacts there towards the coast of the Carolinas, as well as maybe towards Boston Harbor out there in Massachusetts. So the Euro AI is showing a little more eastward, but still, again, too close of a call there for the East Coast. Just going to go back to 7 p.m. today, just so we can start initializing this uh, well on all models. The GFS model is up next, the 18Z model run. Initializes this as, again, don't worry about the strength of the, just worry more about the location and the track. It initializes the location decently well, and then the GFS does show a little bit more of a westward, northwestward push before finally strengthening and taking that turn a little more towards the east, so it wouldn't bring much more impacts towards North Carolina and potentially the Boston Harbor. But again, you can see how close it is to potentially making a little bit more of impacts as well. So not much changed on the GFS. A lot closer than we've seen on previous model runs. But again, it does show a grazing of Turks and Caicos, the Bahamas, potential grazing of the eastern seaboard as it goes out to sea there. And then we got the European, or not the European, sorry, we got the Canadian and the Icon models to go over next. So this is the 12Z Canadian. The Canadian goes in 0Z to 12Zs, so keep that in mind. But you can see that the Canadian initializes it location-wise pretty well, and then takes it to where it kind of wobbles towards the Lesser, or not Lesser Antilles, sorry, Turks and Caicos, and then wobbles a little more, but again, it stays farther to the east, so it doesn't bring much impacts towards Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas. And then as it turns out to sea, it doesn't get very close towards the Carolina coastline or the eastern coastline for that matter. So the Canadian takes it a little bit farther to the east, so it would bring much more impacts. And then of course the last model, or the last global model we'll look at, is the Icon model. Icon model location wise a little bit further to the east, but that's fine. It's still pretty accurate location wise. So the icon shows it again, potentially grazing Turks and Caicos before making that kind of, and grazing, potentially grazing the Bahamas before making that turn up the east coast and potentially bringing some impacts towards North Carolina. Again, it's kind of too close to call, but you can see the icon. Sorry about that. It does show kind of three tropical waves, one back here, and another one kind of goes to Africa. So that's the latest with the icon model. And now we get to look at our latest hurricane models. So this is the latest H warp on Aaron. This is the 18Z with the H warp. And again, it initializes this as a 900 millibar, which is a little more on the aggressive side. Again, don't worry about really the strength. Again, it's more about location than the strength here. So it brings it more towards the west northwest, tracks it a little closer to where maybe Turks and Caicos get a little bit of banding, but again stays more. Oops, sorry, that's going backwards. Stays more offshore, and then of course towards the end of the run just kind of brings it. Oops, sorry, that's not towards the end of the run. It just froze. Again, does not really show it getting close to the coast at all on H Wharf. So let's see. Let's go to the. Gonna go look at the HMR model now. These all should be the 18Z runs as well. Again, don't worry much about the how low the low pressure is. Just worry about the location and the potential track. So the HMR initializes as to where after it kind of goes over Puerto Rico, it immediately starts gaining latitude, brings maybe some sort of real nasty banding towards there near Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas, and then finally moving away from there, and then of course just kind of moving out to sea. But definitely bring some potential, according to the HMON, potential heavy banding there near the islands off of Cuba and Turks and Caicos. Potentially some heavy banding, according to the latest run of the HMON. And then, of course, lastly, we're going to look at our Halves A and Halves B model runs. So this is the Halves A model run. Again, don't worry about where the low pressure, how strong it is. Just we're worried about the track right now. And you can see how, again, it shows that it's up here to the north, which is accurate. And it shows that immediately gaining that latitude again, bringing potentially more impact towards the islands off of Cuba, and of course the Turks and Caicos Islands as well, potentially bringing some heavy banding by there by the end of this week and the start of next week. And then, of course, gaining more latitude. And you can see here that is the North Carolina coastline, I believe, right there. Let me see if we got a better vantage point here. Yeah, you can kind of see that is the North Carolina coastline potentially getting some rain, but again, it's not enough to cause a concern as this continues to move out to sea and really not a problem for anybody. And then, of course, finally, the HAVS B model run, the 18Z run. Initializes it decently well, location wise, and then again takes that more, starts turning towards the north and east, bringing that heavy banding towards those islands out there by Cuba and, of course, Turks and Caicos, potentially the Bahamas, and then starts turning up to the north again. Doesn't bring, it's a little farther to the east, doesn't bring as much impacts towards North Carolina, and then, of course, heads on out to sea, not a problem for anybody. So this is the latest runs. Here, this is the latest ensemble members. This is the 18Z Euro on the left side of your screen. The right side is the GFS. And you can see kind of the general consensus is that, excuse me, is that it is going to abruptly turn towards the north and go out to sea. None of the members bring it even close. The more westward members don't even show really much of a graze. And of course, with the Euro, even only one member shows it getting remotely close. So it looks like we might be spared here by Aaron, even if it takes the most westward track according to these ensembles to where it'll just go in these directions to where it will not really graze the Carolinas or the coast kind of on this run. So potential impacts more zoomed in. So again, this is initializing here with the Euro. We're going to look at the GFS as well. Kind of talk about both of those. So excuse me. This is the wind forecast. This is kind of showing the winds. Again, don't really. The sustained winds are definitely much more than this. Again, this is according to the Euro. This isn't real. We should have real radar actually. Let me see. We should have. Yeah. Let me see. We should have. I don't know if it will show like the winds we have. Um, but you can definitely see kind of. Oops. Let me zoom out. Let's see. I'm trying to see if we can see the wind. No, that's just gonna be according to the model, so I can't really. Sorry. There we go. Hurricane Aaron. There we go. Um, maybe it'll show it a little bit better if I. No. Okay. All right. Well, I thought we could get a little bit of a better wind forecast, but again, the Euro and all the global models aren't even close to what it's actually bringing. Um, so we're just going to leave kind of windy weather off for now. So again, this is the latest radar whenever get it to load up here. This is the latest radar imagery of Major Hurricane Aaron, and you can see that the eye is well displaced off to the north, but you can see how much the impacts go far outside of the eye wall there. And then, whoops, sorry about that. And then if we go to satellite, and we should be able to see this thing. Yeah, this is it on satellite. You can kind of see. Let's see if we can see it in motion. So you can see that it's got a really small compact eye here, but it is trying to get that new eye. So we'll stop it here, but it is trying to get that new eye eye wall formed up. So go back to the radar. And of course, you can see the impacts down there towards the U.S. British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and of course, we do over here have those tropical storm watches for Turks and Caicos Islands that are in those tropical storm watches. So, kind of have to watch over there in Turks and Caicos. Definitely some of these conditions are going to more than likely head towards you um, here in a moment. So we're just going to go back to satellite and play it. I'm going to have to see. Let me see if I can do kind of a more zoomed out. I think I zoomed in a little too much. And I don't have a mouse on me currently. So just give me one moment to kind of go over here, go to satellite, and we'll go right here. And we'll play it and then bring this tab to here. So you can see that it is generally moving towards the west, but it is trying to move kind of towards that west northwest towards the Turks and Caicos Islands. But again, it's going through the eye wall replacement. That's really going to hinder the strengthening of the system. So, and again, we are going to wait for, excuse me, my yawning, sorry. We are waiting for the latest from the National Hurricane Center. If I can ever get back to the main page. There we go. So again, we are waiting for the next update here on Hurricane Aaron. If you guys got any questions or concerns, let me know. I will be more than glad to help you. I am going to look something up on a different tab, so just don't mind me real quick. I'll look this up. We got quite a lot of flights into Aaron. Where's mission 12? Let's see here. So yeah, they found. Okay, I can bring this back around, and we'll put this. We'll kind of put this up here. There we go. So this is the latest here on Ian. We do have that pressure, that low pressure of 935, which means that it has weakened just by 1 millibar according to the Hurricane Hunter aircraft that's in there. We look at the latest mission, or another mission. This mission's heading back. Mission 10, I believe, is also heading back, right? Mission 10 will probably be heading back too, unless it's in there already. Okay, we'll just go to mission 12. And I think I broke it. I think I broke the website. Okay, let me do a little bit of fixing off the screen here. Oh, there we go. It did indeed fix itself after I told it off. So it does look like it may try to make another flight pass through, but you could see that they did indicate down here that we do still have a low pressure right around 935 millibars, which means it is still currently weakening. Let's see. That's the vortex message. I don't want that. I want the drop node just below it. There we go. So let's see. So yeah, they did find winds around 100 miles an hour, right around where, kind of right around where this low pressure is. So it is, we can, according to this hurricane hunter data here, this says that it's down to 125 miles an hour. Let's see this. That's not what I wanted. I wanted this. There we go. Showed one's around 132. It's probably a gust. So, but yeah, this is the latest from the hurricane hunters who were in there. Uh, I should be able to put on infrared satellite. Um, how does that look? There we go. Yep. So that's another satellite image there of Aaron. I don't know why it's like none of these frames are loading in. It's all kind of buggy. But again, that is the latest imagery of Aaron on satellite. And you can see the Hurricane Hunter aircraft. Let me do this in pink. So you can see this is the aircraft right there. That's where the aircraft is. Let me do a better job. So this is the aircraft right here. And it's probably going to make, it's either heading out or it is going to make another pass like this and maybe find another low pressure right in here. So we're going to wait and see what the update is there as we get another live look of Aaron here on satellite trying to get itself a bit more organized. So let's see. I want to actually see if I pause this. I want to see if I bring this back. I bring you out. This is where it's at here. And then if I hide it and I bring it to the end, turn it back, it's now here. So I believe it is trying to move west northwestward. I think it is trying to move in this general direction, which again, the closer, um, I was going to say the closer, if this kind of goes like this, instead of going such as like this, then Turks and Caicos could get a lot more impacts, as well as the southern Bahamas here. It just depends how far it goes before it turns, takes that turn to the north. So I'm going to keep the satellite loop playing. Again, if you guys have any questions, anything you want to talk about, um, I'm open to any and all questions, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. So we're watching air on satellite. We're watching the Hurricane Hunter plane that's currently inside of Aaron right now. And then we also have the National Hurricane Center update that's going to come out within the hour. So, and we're going to have a new track and everything. And if they may, if this has significantly weakened enough, they'll do a special update advisory, and they will maybe bring this down, because if we're seeing winds of 125, then this is going from category 4 down towards it's only going down by one category. If we go from a cat 4 to a cat 3, which again, it doesn't really matter that much in this scenario, um, but still matters kind of track wise, because again, a more weaker system is going to tend to travel towards the west. So okay, I didn't do this earlier because I was kind of rushing for time, but I'm gonna see if I can get live on. Oh wait, no, I can't. That's all right. Oh, don't. No, gosh darn it! I knew that was gonna happen too. Oh, I knew that was gonna happen too. Oh, please let me be able to restore. Please let me be able to restore my tabs. Please. I don't think it will. Shoot, dang it. Okay, well, that's not really what I wanted to happen just then. Leave that playing. And the Hurricane Hunters, and then the Hurricane Center, and we'll pull up the models if we need to. Mission 12 into Aaron. Layers, the colorful satellite imagery. Zoom out a little bit. Bring this down a little bit. There we go. And of course, whatever we're going to get from the Hurricane Center. Okay, fixed it a little bit. I do need to add one more tab, so just don't mind me while I do this really quickly. But how's everybody doing tonight? Are you guys having a good weekend so far? As we are approaching the weekend here. Let me go to here. Manage this. Let's see. All right. I believe I fixed that, so now I just have to quickly run over here and put this here. Go back to what it was. All right. A little behind the scenes there, but I fixed everything, so we're good. Let's see, we got an update on the path here. I don't believe we got another update. This could just be heading back to the base there. So, but latest recon does show a low pressure of 935. So, slight level wind. $149. Okay. So it might be weakening just a little bit more as it's still trying to do that eyewall replacement cycle. What?
Can I share something with you?
This one.
I'm gonna let her know, man. Come on, buddy. I brought you my ball.
So again, I think this is trying to make a west-northwestward turn. We'll have to see. This is definitely a lot of people expected this to go because if you look at the track for Aaron, not Ian, Aaron, earlier today, it did show that it was going more westward when it was supposed to turn already. So this is kind of the unpredictability of Aaron. We are expecting it to take a turn. That's kind of what always has been the expectations of this has been to take a turn. So we're going to give you guys constant updates, and we're going to be here. And we'll have a video tomorrow as well, but we're streaming, we're live right now, and we're kind of now casting this as it is just to the north of Puerto Rico in the U.S. British Virgin Islands. It is going to be moving more genuinely towards the west-northwest, but it looks like it's just kind of moving a little more towards the west there. So Yeah, I don't know if we have another update or not. Um, so just give it a minute. I'm just reloading the page. See if we got another update from Hurricane Hunter, which I don't think we have. So, but if this is all the flights they do, then for the night, the 9:35, roughly right around 9:35 is going to be the new pressure for the system. So, which we'll find out within the next 45, 45 ish minutes. So, again, they're more than likely going to wait until all the data comes in from the hurricane hunters. But yeah, Puerto Rico and the U.S. British Virgin Islands have been getting pretty hammered all day today. It's going to continue as just kind of you can kind of see as we look at the loop how this is kind of moving like this, how it's kind of like slashing downward, like it's a slash down. And then eventually, this is going to have to eventually all come back around and then potentially slash. Well, that's just really dramatic. Sorry about that. As all this convection kind of loops back around Aaron, it could potentially try and as this moves, could eventually impact Turks and Caicos and portions of the Bahamas. Kind of give you guys some whiplash banding from Aaron potentially as this moves by. So it's a little laggy. There we go. It's a little bit better now. Again, I don't think we got any update from the hurricane hunters right now. So, but we will have an update from the National Hurricane Center in 45 minutes. So just gonna keep looking at satellite and answering any of you guys' questions if you have any. Um, and once we kind of get the update from the National Hurricane Center, we'll talk more about our other disturbance here out here in the MDR, the main development region. Again, if you guys are just tuning in, we are live tonight talking about Major Hurricane Aaron as it is the outer bands of Aaron has been lashing Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands throughout the entire day today, and will continue to do so. As you can see here on the, if we stop it, kind of on this last scan, you can see this big, strong band of convection that's going to come down and around on Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico, you're not out of the woods yet because you do have another really strong band that was probably a little bit stronger than what happened, what's been happening today. It's going to come down and around like this potentially. So, Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, I would be ready for potentially a stronger, more consolidated band to come down and around here. So, again, I think that our Hurricane Hunter is leaving Aaron, from what I can tell. Um, so, unless I'm wrong, it's going to take a dramatic uh, shift like this, or kind of like that. But have to wait and see. That kind of this is where Aaron's at now. It's going to try to move in that direction, but Again, we're gonna watch it here live and track it for you. Go back to weatherwise, and we will keep playing the radar loop or the satellite loop of Aaron as it is as this strong band is getting ready. I wonder what that looks like on radar. Excuse me. I'll go to the radar down here. Let's see. I don't want to zoom in too much because then I'll have to reload the page. But from what I can tell, it's a pretty strong band that's getting ready to kind of probably do something like that as it moves in and then back around again. But you can see again the radar is not can't the radar can't see all the way up here. But from what we can see from the radar, there's a lot of convection in front of it. There's a lot of convection on the southern side, but over here on the northern side, there is nothing, not even a drop of rain out there. So definitely something to keep a look on here. Did we pause this and see if we got I think this is trying to turn west northwestward here. I think it's trying to make that push because you can kind of see how it's turning there. It's not really moving west, it's kind of moving west northwest. So just gonna make sure everything's good here. Okay. Yep, our Hurricane Hunter's not done yet. He is going back in for more information on this, so probably within the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, we'll get another. We'll probably find out what the next pass of the center looks like as it comes on through. So we'll be, as we're waiting for our Hurricane Hunter data, take this opportunity to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It would be greatly appreciated if you have not, especially helping grow this channel and helping grow the community that we're trying to build here. It would mean a lot. So, yeah, it definitely looks like it's trying to take a west northwestern turn now. So, interested to see since it is a little more. I mean, it looks like it is going to try to do maybe something where it goes like this, maybe to where maybe Turks and Caicos and the southern Bahamas down here won't get impacted as much as if it were to go. Because, I mean, if you look at my line, it's kind of going straight to my line. I mean, the thing is, it could also, if it does a more of a wobble, it can kind of go like straight and then a little wobble and then straight and then a little wobble and then straight like this. And then more impacts down here. And then if this kind of curves up like this, then maybe more impacts towards the Bahamas as well, rather than if it went straight like that. So live tracking Hurricane Aaron as it is making its way towards Turks and Caicos and towards the Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos area. Excuse me, as it can try to move to the west northwest. That's what we'll probably see in this next advisory that's moving west northwest at. What did it say it's moving at right now? 15, so maybe like between 15 and 17 miles an hour west northwest. So We're waiting for the. If you're also wondering, because it is kind of hard to see where is the Hurricane Hunter plane. Um, this is it right here. This is the plane right there, and it's gonna try to make another pass into Aaron to gather more data for us, so we can accurately forecast where Aaron will go. So that's why we send the hurricane hunters out there to give us more accurate data and information so we can better predict where such hurricanes will go. So, by the way, all these boxes you see around the Virgin Islands here, Puerto Rico, that's all special marine warnings just for boats and stuff. Which, if you're out there in Puerto Rico or the Virgin Islands, and even out there in Turks and Caicos, you need to be getting those boats in the harbor, whatever it is you need to put away and stowed away for potential tropical storm force winds. But it does look like this banding here is kind of more so pushing to the west. You see how it's kind of this banding right here is pushing more to the west than it is, kind of like instead of like going down like a slash effect, it's going more towards the west. It may try to create like a bow echo and do something like this maybe, which would indicate that this is trying to move to the west. But I mean, look at oh, it might have just took on a western wobble again. Look on that latest frame how it's going northwest and then maybe at the last second. Um, Let me get off of this so I can show you what I'm talking about. You can see here the whole time how it's trying to move northwest, and then in these last couple of frames, it looks like it might be trying to turn toward the west again. But which of this banding did kind of go out more like this, kind of like a bow echo. Then even though we do have new storms starting to fire off up here on the north western side of the storm, it's not much convection up here. It's more so down in here is where the convection's at. So, any update? I don't think so. I think we're still waiting for a little bit more updated information. So, I have to see where will Major Hurricane Aaron make its path to next. As we wait for the next update from the National Hurricane Center, as well as what is the next update um, from the hurricane hunters as they are trying to get another pass in the center out here. So, again, if you guys have any questions that you want to ask, just general topics you want to talk about, um, this is kind of we are tracking Hurricane Aaron, yes, but we're also kind of here to just kind of ask general questions, how your week was, how your weekend is going. Anything? I know Labor Day's coming up. Any big plans for Labor Day coming up? So maybe not if you're too scared to, because it is hurricane season. Too scared to go towards the Bahamas or Puerto Rico or wherever your potential island uh, vacation could be. It's definitely interesting to take that into note, but just keep a look at the local forecast. I wouldn't be um, scared if I was on the East Coast. This is still, uh, probably a few days away from even making it nearly close towards you guys. So, but we're watching this slowly but surely as it's um, making its way towards the Turks and Caicos Islands. So it's getting a little bit. Looks like it is trying to get more organized, trying to get that, trying to finish that eye wall replacement cycle, and trying to kind of re-strengthen itself out here. So there we go. There's another little update. So it is about. So this is where the hurt. So this is where kind of the eye wall is for Aaron right here, and a Hurricane Hunter is just now getting on kind of the banding. So as he heads more towards the center down here, we're gonna have to wait and see kind of what measurements he will get. So definitely within the next 15-20 minutes should get another pass through the center from the Hurricane Hunters, and we'll see because their past two fly throughs have been 935. We'll see if that remains the same, sorry, or if it's weaker or stronger than what was initially uh, what the initial flight path told us there. So this does look like it's trying to move towards the west again. Like it looks like it was moving like northwestward, like west northwest, but now it looks like it's just kind of moving west again. It's really hard to tell, but again, there's all the convection, all the storminess from Aaron is out kind of in front of it right here. This little lash right here, and along the whole southern side up as well. But on the northern side, there's practically nothing unless you're on this kind of these storms right here that are starting to pop off now. But again, it's more kind of southern. Excuse me. It's more kind of towards the eastern, southeastern, southwestern side rather than the northeastern, northeastern side. So, but definitely even potentially here on this as this later how this banding's coming in, you could see that maybe over here near the coast and beaches over here on Dominican Republic, maybe getting on some of the banding from Aaron. Just kind of shows you how much of a broad, wide system kind of this is right now. Like we're getting kind of some of the banding getting into the Dominican Republic right now. And just for kind of for reference, we'll do like that. So this is where the banding is, and kind of that's where the eye wall's at, and you can see the arrow, the disarray here. You can see how much how far away that it is from the eye, that we're still getting convection out here as well. Even starting to get a little more on this little tail out there on the whiplash. So, and of course, our huge kind of banding right in here that we've been watching that's been hitting the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico uh, all day long, bringing in, of course, massive flood and landslide concerns as well. Let's see if we got another little update on the flight path. Again, this is going to fly straight through the center, so we're going to wait and see if we have a stronger system or a weaker system. As of this moment, we could have a little bit of a weaker system. As again, when it goes through those eye wall replacement cycles, it does temporarily weaken the storm and it exposes the storm. It really just exposes the storm, and it makes it allows the dry air and it allows things that it pushed out to kind of sneak in a little bit and try and weaken this down as it's doing that eyeball replacement. So, um, no update yet. So it's still, if I had to guess based on the updates we've been getting, the next update will probably bring it somewhere in this area right here. And then the next update will probably be here. And then the next update will be here. And then hopefully by this update over here, between this update and this update, we'll figure out what the new update is on the center as it passes through. So we shall wait and see. Again, this is major category 4 Hurricane Aaron coming through. We are going to wait. More than likely, it is going to be closer to that 10 p.m. Central Time before we get the next update from the National Hurricane Center, as we're probably going to wait for this hurricane hunter plane to pass through the system and then give that data back to the Hurricane Center. So it probably will be another 20-ish minutes before we get the update. So, because usually you can see how they do it a little earlier. This is almost. This is 12 minutes earlier, but sometimes it's almost 15 minutes earlier. So definitely wouldn't be surprised if it's another, 12, 5 or 7, really 7 to 12 minutes until 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern that they release the new information, unless it's something, really drastic that causes immediate attention. Now get this, we're back to a category 5 at like 180, miles an hour, something insane like that. So that would warrant an emergency update from the Hurricane Center, like they had earlier this morning. But Aaron is still chugging along, trying its best to kind of re-strengthen itself after its eye wall replacement. Still trying to. You can clearly see the eye on this storm, but you can see how it's not as well organized as it was yesterday or even this morning. So, and that's what strong hurricanes do. How they adapt to the environment. They recycle their eye so they can it'll briefly decrease the strength, which is what we've been seeing. And then once it reconsolidates the eye and kind of it kind of um, focuses itself on being more vertically stacked and trying to relocate the eye, then that's when we get more of the strengthening phase. But during this eye wall replacement, it's going to be more of a weakening. And plus, you can see how it's still trying to strengthen because we're getting a little bit more northern convection up here on these storms. Not a lot. It's only a few little areas, but it's still something to note as what what we're watching here on the satellite imagery. Should at this point it might even be in or through the eye wall. So probably within the next, hopefully at 9:40 we'll get another update. So from the hurricane warnings. Just to show that we still have no update yet from the Hurricane Center, which is kind of expected this far out. Should get that within the next 20 minutes. So, again, if you guys are having a good time, if you guys are just enjoying me just kind of yapping about hurricanes and weather, then like and subscribe. Just here trying to kind of give information and help people out because this is just one of those storms where it was just like, oh, a tropical storm, Cat 1 hurricane, and then we wake up this morning and then it's like, hey, or maybe it was yesterday morning, we woke up and it was Cat 4, Cat 5, 180-mile-an-hour winds with gusts over 200, insane. And then it goes through an eye wall replacement and it loses all that strength. And it's going to try to get it back here probably overnight tonight into tomorrow. When we wake up uh, tomorrow morning at the 8 or the 8 a.m. advisory, even the 5 a.m. advisory, you could see this a lot stronger than what it is now, just because it's not going to be going through another cycle, which it could, it very well could. But since it just went through one, it probably won't go through another one. So it'll probably try to just re-strengthen itself over and over again. Let's see, did we get an update? Yes, we did. So, the latest update here, they're just now, according to this website, you're just now entering that kind of the eye wall of Aaron, and this is eventually here within the next 10-15 minutes. We'll pass through the eye, so definitely going to be a kind of a closer to the exact time for the National Hurricane Center to drop this update, because this is going to be a new track and everything. So this is going to be a huge update that comes out here tonight. And then of course we'll discuss potentially the next waves coming after Aaron. And then if you guys don't have any questions or concerns or anything you want to talk about, then we will end the stream. And we'll have you guys a video tomorrow with an updated schedule as well. So, but, yep. It does look like the eye was a little bit more clear, but now it looks like the eye's kind of shrinking. It looks like it's not fully kind of just rapidly intensifying just yet, which is fun, which is kind of expected due to the eye wall replacement. But it did believe, I believe it did gain definitely a little bit more latitude, and then I think it's just now starting to do a wobble, which all hurricanes do. They always do a wobble where they go west northwest and then west and then north and then northwest and then west, like they're all big hurricanes. They just wobble. They don't nothing really truly perfectly follows the cone of the National Hurricane Center. There's always wobbles further north, further south, further west, further east. And definitely with this one, with Aaron, that's definitely a lot further west than what I bet most people were thinking, especially down here in the islands in Puerto Rico. Even with some of this banding getting to Dominican Republic, thinking, well, this is going north and out to sea. We don't need to worry about it. And then you're out there trying to party on a Saturday night, and you're getting rained out because you didn't keep up with the forecast because Aaron's out there a little bit further south and west than what most people uh, would have thought. So, yep, it should be close. It should be right around the eye, um, or whatever kind of eye this is trying to form here. Um, so, but yeah, you can see how the eye was a lot bigger and a little more kind of vertically, kind of more vertical, and now you can see how it's just a little tiny yellow speck there in the middle of all the gray black clouds surrounding it. So it's definitely still trying to figure out what to do with itself. I would be surprised. Excuse me. I wouldn't be surprised if we wake up tomorrow and this is rapidly intensified overnight, just because how warm it is out here in the Atlantic, the Caribbean, and the Gulf of America. Which it's not really close to the Gulf of America, but still, it's just how warm it is out here at this time of year. So it's bathtub water. Most people kind of would refer it as that as bathtub water. So definitely, I believe it's moving further to the west. It tried to move west northwest. Then in the latest frames here, it just kind of seems like it's moving a little more towards the west now. But so, do we have an update from hurricane people? No, we don't. It is in the eye wall right now. It's probably getting ready to go make a pass through the eye, which will then get the information and we'll be able to see is the pressure still 935. And you can see this is trying to move northwest, west northwest. You can see kind of the trend between the two uh, low pressures. So we'll have to see. This is a little bit further, we'll have to see if they kind of put it more in a diagonal line or if it's going to be here, here, and like maybe here, over here, to where it goes west, northwest, west, northwest, and then maybe west, northwest still, or maybe to the west. So, but definitely with the last two passes to the middle, you can definitely see kind of a west northwest trend. Barely though. I mean, it's barely gaining any latitude between those two flights to the middle. So, excuse me. But yeah, definitely could be trying to move towards the northwest. I mean, we can do this all day. I mean, we can see here, this is where it was at, right here. And then we hide it. We go to the very end of the latest run. I mean, it's really barely even moved um, at all. So maybe it's getting a little more latitude, but not a ton. So again, we're just waiting to see that pass again through the eye, which will give us another update from the National Hurricane Center. Just want to make sure they haven't released it early, because sometimes they will do that, but they have not released it yet. And we're 14 minutes till the top of the hour. I want to refresh this again, but I don't want to have to do all the layering and stuff again. So I'm just gonna leave it like this and let it auto. What I do is auto update. So let me move this right there. It's a little glare, but it's not truly terrible. So I don't know. This looks like it kind of went west northwest, and now it's trying to turn west again, maybe. So just depends how many times it wants to do that western wobble. How many times does it western wobble before turning to the north? So and that's kind of the question with Aaron. This whole mystery is when will it take the turn? Of course, the sooner the turn, the better for the U.S. and other places as well. The later the turn, the more scarier for the U.S. and the more scarier for both places like Turks and Caicos, the Bahamas, as well. So I'll check at 9:50. I'll refresh the National Hurricane Center page to see if we got another update. So I'm just gonna wait for this page to update here from the Hurricane Hunters. But again, latest pressure that the ratings from the Hurricane Hunters is 935. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's weak tonight because of the eye wall replacement, and then tomorrow morning it's rapidly intensified overnight all night, and it's back to this monster storm. So it's kind of hard to, um, it's hard to think that it's just going to rapidly intensify overnight, but it's done it before, where it's kind of like, oh, Cat 1, no problem. going to bed, it's cat 1, no problem. And then the next morning it's a cat 4. I mean, it's truly just jaw dropping sometimes, rapid intensification. And there is the latest there from the Hurricane Hunter. Um, it is going a little bit further towards the western side, so it may be more of a western wobble again. We're gonna wait on the latest scan here. I don't know. Yeah, that just tells me the plane stuff. It doesn't tell me really much. Um, yeah, it doesn't really show me anything. So we'll have to see if it does one of these drops nodes out here, and we'll have to see what the latest is there. So, which it may try and go kind of down, and then boom, and then maybe make one more big uh, pass through. So, well, we will have to wait and see. But see the latest scan there from satellite. It has, I mean, like, if you connect these dots to these dots, and then these dots to like here. I mean, it is more of a west northwestern, but you can see if it just depends. Does it keep trucking this way, or does it go like more of like where it goes this way? I mean, it just depends on how far western this wobbles. So it is 9:50. We will see. Do we have the latest update? I'm gonna refresh. No, we do not have the latest update yet. So, which is fine. I kind of expected that they're gonna wait until the last second possible and make sure they get the most data into this update because this is a full-fledged advisory with a new cone and everything. So really quickly, while we're still at the 7 p.m. update or the 8 p.m. update, I want to look at this cone. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a screenshot of this and we're going to look at it side by side to the new cone and we're going to see how different, um, what's the shift, the potential shift from the National Hurricane Center. So. See, the latest drop node was way back here. So yeah, only still tropical storm force winds out there though, but that's not much winds out there because of course this is we needed to drop. We need one right around in here so we can get more data on this thing, but leave it up to the hurricane hunters. Let them do their thing, and we'll figure it out within the next 8 minutes. We're gonna refresh at 9:55. So in 3 minutes, we will refresh the page and see what the latest update is from the Hurricane Center. So again, this is uh, definitely trying to move west northwestward. It's just again, it's still trying to move. I just feel like it's trying to move more towards the west. Like it's trying to move north, but then it just gets pushed more to the west. It just depends how much this high pressure expands and pushes us more to the west. But definitely, you can see a lot of banding now getting into the Dominican Republic, and this banding that we've been talking about for the past little bit. This banding right here might make its way down there into the Dominican Republic. So be careful, might could have some strong banding coming your way uh, here within moments potentially. So no new update. I got excited. I did, but no new kind of progressed push from the Hurricane Hunters. It's still in that same spot from earlier. So all right. So within as soon as it hits 9:55, we're gonna refresh and see if the Hurricane Center has what kind of reflects what the hurricane hunters are seeing out there and the with Aaron. So getting any moment now, we're gonna at 9:55. So whenever it hits 9:55, we're gonna go check the National Hurricane Center page, and then if it's not updated, then we're gonna wait until the top of the hour. Um, so all right, it's 9:55. 3, 2, 1. Still no update. I'm going to refresh 3 times to be sure. Still no update from the National Hurricane Center, so they are waiting till the last possible second here um, to get the most accurate, which is fine. I'm not mad. I'm not like, oh, they don't bring it out earlier. I'm happy that they're taking the time with this. I'm really happy because that means more and more data is getting filtered every minute that goes by. So it's going to kind of stick on this page here as we are, excuse me, as we are waiting. Again, the update from the National Hurricane Center within, at the top of the hour. So within the next 5 minutes, which will, if I see a notification on my phone ahead of time, before 10, then I will look at it and make sure it's official, and then we'll go look. But as of now, it's still no update yet. So again, this is just the latest satellite imagery of Aaron as it is continuing uh, to tear up the Atlantic out there, and those bands are definitely making themselves known. Those whiplash bands out there near Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and even out there towards the eastern portions of the Dominican Republic out there as well. So, come on, give us an update, please. 9:35 has been the constant. We'll see what the latest update is, if it's still 9:35, or is it, if this number goes higher, then that means it's weaker, but if this number goes lower, then that means it's stronger, and of course if it stays the same, then it hasn't gained strength or really lost strength. So 3 minutes, 3 more minutes, we'll get the National Hurricane Center update. So again, we're just waiting for the latest data from the hurricane hunters. Again, as they um, pass through Aaron here on kind of if you look at it from this angle, kind of on the southeastern side, or southwestern side, sorry, of Aaron. But they tried to fly through directly where the potential eye could be. So still, either way, it'll be interesting to see what the Hurricane Center shows within 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And I haven't seen any. Yeah, so. Trying to see if we'll get an update if I just keep switching tabs. on this page. So update maybe. Okay, update. So it has crossed through. No real indication on what. Let's see if we can get some of the readings here. I don't know. So I believe the peak surface winds is 139. Um, so I believe the peak winds they say is 139, and the flight level winds where they were flying is 103. So this, if this is down to 139 miles an hour, it will still be a Cat 4 maybe. I think it's just a weaker version of a Cat 4 or a really strong Category 3, but it doesn't really matter. Um, so trying to look at some of these winds as they pass through the storm here, which yeah, I mean the max I'm seeing is in this yellow route right around here, which is 139 miles an hour. So that's all I'm seeing so far is 139 miles an hour from this storm. Oh no, there's 145. So maybe it's just weakened a little bit. All right, it's 10 p.m. We should have the update. Here we go, guys. Latest update came out just a minute ago. Let's see. Aaron is still a. The latest update has it down to a 937 at 140 miles an hour. So they did bring it down a little bit more on the weaker side. So Aaron is still a formidable Category 4 hurricane undergoing structural changes. Heavy rains and gusty winds are still occurring over Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Well, we may not get the cone. I don't know if it's. Yeah, it may take. It's going to take some time for the cone to update. So we will wait for that cone to come out. Again, this is not the new cone. This is the 8 p.m. cone, and we're going to compare the cones as they come out. So let's see. Um, so there's a tropical storm watch for Turks and Caicos Islands. That's fine. Let's see. Hurricane Hunter Air Force Reserve so the aircraft reconnaissance data essentially indicates that the maximum sustained winds have decreased to 140 miles an hour with higher gusts. It's currently a Category 4. On the wind scale, fluctuations in intensity are expected over the next 24 to 48 hours due to the inner core structure changes. Hurricane force winds extend upward of 25 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds upward of over 200 miles from the center. And the estimated pressure is 937. Let's see. So, yeah. Okay. That is the latest. We'll see. Do we have the updated key messages? No, that's just at 5 p.m., so that's not accurate. Let's see. Do we have a little bit more? Okay, we do have the forecast discussion. So, the inner. Okay. Okay, here we go. The inner eye wall of Aaron has been wobbling around, likely due to some motion, some trochoidal motion as it interacts with building a secondary wind maximum, but the longer term motion is around 290/12 knots. Aaron has moved left of the NHC forecast track over the past day. It's moved left, which is towards the west. And I suspect some of the left of expected motion could be due to the small inner core size of the hurricane, which is poorly resolved by all the hurricane models and global models. However, as the overall wind field of Aaron grows in size, a more consistent west-northwestward motion is expected to resume tonight and persist over the next 12 to 24 hours. After that time, a series of shortwave troughs will move offshore from Atlantic Canada, helping potentially move this towards the north. This would create a growing weakness in the north to the north of Aaron, ultimately allowing the large hurricane to turn northward and then northwestward by the end of the forecast period. The track guidance this cycle made another westward adjustment, and the track forecast was nudged in that direction. The current track remains to the east of both. It remains to the east of both the Euro and the HCCA aid, so it would not be surprising to see some additional westward adjustments in future forecasts. So basically, what this paragraph means is it's still moving westward than what models have anticipated. They are still expecting this to make a northward turn, and they did say that they are keeping it a little further to the east than what the global models and the hurricane models are showing, but it would not be surprising that they move the cone more westward over the next coming days. Their feature intensity is the most challenging aspect of Aaron's forecast. So, okay, so that's kind of the reading portion done. Let's see this cone. Do we have it? No, we do not have the cone just yet. Okay. So we do not have the cone just yet from the National Hurricane Center. So we will be showing you guys that as soon as there it is. There's the cone. It should, if this is the latest cone, it will say, maybe not. I don't know. I didn't see much of a shift to the west. I mean, let's screenshot this thing. And we'll compare the cones and we'll see what kind of the update is with them. So I'm gonna play you guys or I'm gonna show you guys the kind of the latest here as I get the side by side comparisons ready for you guys. So just do not mind as we are looking at the just gonna bring this over here. So again, what I'm about to show you and compare to you is the 8 p.m. advisory and the 11 p.m. advisory cone. So you would be able to see said difference in said cone. So give me 1 second to pull up this one. This is a little bit more shortened, but okay. So we're gonna pull both of these images over, so bear with me as I bring both these images over as okay. Let me bring you on this side of the screen and let's shorten you a little bit. So no, we did not want to do that. So this is both as you can see here, I'll kind of draw so you can see this is the 8 p.m. and this is the 11 p.m. I mean, I don't see much of a difference in this cone. I mean, this is bringing it close to there. This is bringing it. Okay, I see. So you see how it's really going to be hard to tell, but the pink line I drew on this advisory is closer to the word Bahamas than it was on this advisory, if that makes sense. So it shifted just the tiniest bit more to the west, but not by a lot. So it's moved the tiniest. I'm talking like the tiniest of a turn of a push to the west. So, which they still have this at 20%, so nothing to worry about with that for now. So, but yep, this is the latest cone from the National Hurricane Center, a little bit further to the west. So, but they said they wouldn't be surprised if this gets shoved more towards the west in the coming days, in the coming forecast. So it just depends how far does our hurricane here move to the west. So, but if you guys don't have any questions, then I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. Put this back on satellite loop. I will keep you guys updated tomorrow with another video. But again, I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. Um, and we will be streaming or not streaming. We'll be making another video tomorrow about Aaron. Um, so thank you guys again so much for watching. Take care. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another video and a schedule update for next week. Goodbye. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.